Good evening, Vision. Good evening, Vision Building Women. I hope you all are having a fantastic evening. We are live here. I am actually live. Excited to be here. Let me get on my phone really quickly. Just want to check to make sure I'm live in the right group. So come on in. Come on in. I am actually on my laptop, so it looks a little different here on the laptop when I'm looking at it on my phone. It looks a little stretched a little bit. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but whatever it is, we will. Let me get rid of that lighting. There we go. Okay. But we will definitely. Okay. There we are. But we will definitely. Okay. So I want to make sure that I can see everybody and hear everybody. And so again, welcome. It's Dr. Sandra. As you're coming in, just say hello so we'll know that you are here. I'm sure you're looking like, where is Dr. Sandra? There we go. I had to turn that off. I am actually in Atlanta in a hotel. I am here with some colleagues, and we are at the Propel conference here in Atlanta. Propel is the pastors and leaders conference for Full Gospel, and so I'm excited to be here. But I'm also here for a second reason. I am always one to talk about, expanding and making sure that you are moving forward in your calling. And so tomorrow night, myself and another young lady that we came down together, we will be certified as teachers in Full Gospel. So we have been through it's about a 2-year program. It seems like we've been in it for a long time, but a 2-year program where we were taught by none other than our bishop, who is Bishop Brown, Cheryl Brown, who is a magnificent and anointed teacher of teachers. And so we were taught by her, and it has actually been so wonderful. Well, let's get right into the teaching on tonight. I'm still looking at this on my phone, and it looks like it's a little stretched. Not exactly sure why it's doing that, but anyway, I guess it's because I have a new laptop, so that must be what it is. But either way, as long as you all can hear me and see me, that'll be okay. All right? So, this is what I wanted to speak with you about tonight. Some of you may have seen the picture that I posted where I am hanging from this stretch machine, right? Well, not a machine. It's like an apparatus, a bar kind of thing, right? And in the gym, you use that to either stretch before or stretch afterwards. And every time myself and Minister Benita, we go to the gym, I look at this thing, go, I'm going to stretch on that after I'm done. I'm going to stretch on that after I'm done. Get a real good overall stretch, right? And then every time I say, you know what, I'm going to leave that thing alone. I'm just going to go over here on the floor and stretch. Well, the particular day that we took that picture was last week. And I finally decided to get on that thing and stretch. Well, let me tell you, that stretch hurt. I mean, I guess that's why, I don't see a lot of people over there on it, but it hurt my arms. I mean, I won't say it hurt. I could feel the stretch, right? I could feel the stretch in my arms. I could feel the stretch in my forearms right here. In this part, the muscles here. I could feel the stretch in my shoulders. I could feel the stretch in my back. I could even feel the stretch in my calves because my feet weren't touching the ground. So I was, doing what you normally do and trying to get my feet to touch the ground. But anyway, so I could actually feel the stretch. Well, let me tell you, when I went back to the car, I really began to think about that whole stretch and that whole ordeal, and God just began to speak to me. And that's what I want to share with you today. I actually today wrote my notes down. Y'all know me, right? I'm going to come prepared. I believe as a teacher, you should always be prepared to give what God wants you to give. So I want to give you just a few pointers or a few points on being stretched, you know? And I'm kind of trying to decide where I'm looking in this screen. You know what? I'm going to look at my, hold on just a second. There we are. I was trying to see what this looks like on the computer. So it is stretched. I'm not exactly sure. You know, it's interesting. I'm talking about stretching or being stretched, and the actual video itself is stretched as well on the screen. But anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about being stretched on tonight. So now, here's the thing. Now, let me do this. Hold on. Okay. So here's what I want to share with you tonight about being stretched. So first of all, let's start with what is stretching. What does that word mean in the natural? And so to stretch in the natural means to be made or capable of being made longer or wider without tearing or breaking. Okay, that's what stretching means in the natural. So if you think about that in the spiritual, God is doing something in you, but regardless of what he's doing in you, as you go through that process, you are not going to break. You are not going to snap, regardless of how hard you think it is or how hard you feel like you're going through right now, what you're going through, you're not going to snap or break. Now, God took me deeper, and that's probably something you already known. You probably already heard me talk about that in the past. Well, God took me a little bit deeper. So what I want to talk about tonight, now that we're past the definition, is this whole concept of a stretching season. This whole concept of a stretching season. So the first question that I thought about when I thought about a stretching season is, why would I be in a stretching season? Why would God have you in a season to stretch you? What is going on, and why would you be in that particular season, right? So the reason that you are in a stretching season, or God has you in a season where he's stretching you, is because you need to be prepared for your next level. Okay, I need you to get this. You need to be prepared for your next level. So, and here's the thing where it was like a revelation to me in this particular part right here, when God revealed to me that what got you where you are is not going to get you to your next level. I need you to get that. What got you where you are, whatever studying you did, whatever you went through, you know, whatever you did to get you to where you are today, is not going to take you to your next level. Okay? Which means that the stretching season that you're in today, or whatever you're experiencing today, even if everything in your life is all good, even if everything you said was, Dr. Sandra, everything in my life is all good, that doesn't mean that God is not stretching you. It just means that you don't feel it yet. Get that. Get that. Doesn't mean that God is not stretching you. You just don't feel it yet. All right. So this whole concept of being in a stretching season, the things that got you where you are today cannot take you where God has you to go in the future. So between now and your next open door or your next opportunity, God is going to stretch you. And there are times when you want to get to a next level, and you've been praying for a next level on your job, or you've been praying for a next level, maybe even in a relationship, or you've been praying in a next level in something in your life, maybe financially, maybe spiritually, maybe in ministry. And you're not going to get there without being stretched, okay? You are not going to get there without being stretched, right? So if you are struggling with something at this point in time in your life, if you're struggling with something, know that God is stretching you. Now, I need you to hear this. Every struggle is not a stretch. If you're writing, write that down. Every struggle is not a stretch. There will be times when you are struggling because of a decision that you made. You could have made a decision, and the decision was out of the will of God, and so now you're struggling. There was I tell people all the time. There was a young lady when my son was at Upper Room Church of God in Christ, and he was there in kindergarten, in first grade in their school, and there was a young lady there. Her name is Anitra Allison, a phenomenal woman of God, a wonderful psalmist. She is her dad is Pastor Perkins over at Victory Tabernacle. Well, at that time, Sinitra was a teacher at Upper Room, and Sinitra would yell down the hall when the kids were doing something they shouldn't have been doing. She would yell down the hall, "There is a consequence to every action that you take." And so, I think about that often in terms of the decisions that we make. Sometimes we think that we're going through because God is taking us through, but sometimes it's that going through is not necessarily God stretching you, it's the consequence of the decision that you made. So I want to make sure that you understand that. So how do you know that God is stretching you? How do you know that you are in a stretching season? We know we have to be in one because God is making sure that we're ready for the next opportunity or the next open door. But how do we know that we are being stretched? Okay, how do we know that? Well, first of all, stretching is transformational. I need you to write that down if you're taking notes. Stretching is transformational. When God stretches you, He is stretching you to be the person that He created you to be. So here's the thing. If you are not walking completely in your calling, if you are not doing the kinds of things that God ordained you to do, if you're not walking in what God, the level that God knows that you're capable of and that He created you to be capable of, then believe me, you are going to be stretched so that you will trust God and then walk into that opportunity. Here's an example. I often get opportunities that come to me, and sometimes I'll say no, because I think I'm not ready, and this literally just happened. This literally just happened. I can't tell you about what it is. It hasn't been announced yet. The press release has not gone live with it yet, but as soon as it does, of course, I'll share it. But someone said, "I think you're ready for a particular position," and my thought was, well, I'm not. I haven't been here long enough, and I wasn't making excuses, but I just didn't feel I was ready. And then we get to a particular meeting, and my name comes up, and it wasn't even the person that I was talking to about this, and my name comes up. Next thing you know, I am in a particular position, right? I'm in a particular position. It looks like my internet here in the hotel is a little slow, but hopefully everything is okay. Okay. So then all of a sudden, I was asked to leave the meeting, which is fine. That's what you do if you're being talked about. You don't want to be in there, right? And so I was asked to leave the meeting. I come back and they said, "Congratulations." And there was someone else that I thought was in much better than I was because of how long he had been there and so on and so forth. And he actually said, "I'm going to step aside, and I believe Sandra is a better fit for this particular position." And I thought about that. I said, "God, am I ready for this? Am I really ready for this?" But then I realized something, and that is that when God stretches you to get you to that point, He's already stretched you to prepare you to get to that point. Now, what that means is that in terms of my own transformation, in terms of how God is doing things in my life and in your life, that I'm here now. Now there's some stretching that has to happen in my life to get me to that next step, to that next level, right? And you have to understand that God is going to stretch you because He's not going to let you walk into a situation and you're not prepared. So at every level that you go up, At every level that you go up, God is going to stretch you. You know, it could be, in your eyes, it could be something bad. It could be something ugly. It could be, oh my goodness, why do I have to go through this? But God is stretching you. So when God wants to take you to that next level, he's taking you to the place, or he's preparing you so he can take you to the place that he created you to be. God created me to be a leader. I am okay with that. It took me some time. It took me some time, to be frank with you, but I am now confident in the level of leadership that I walk in. Does that mean that I know everything? Not by any means, okay? But does that mean that I know that when I walk into whatever open door that God has for me, I know he's going to be there with me. I know that whatever is needed, God is going to provide it as long as I do my part, okay? So I want you to think about that stretching is transformational. Stretching will change your life, okay? So here's one thing I want you also to remember about stretching. And that is, when God stretches you, he's going to elevate you. It could be an elevation in terms of what you're doing. It could be an elevation in terms of a position. It could be an elevation in terms of a degree. Maybe you got a higher degree. It could be an elevation in terms of your finances. Maybe you got an increase on your job, or God has blessed you to the more financially, regardless of where it is. But here is something else I want you to write down if you're taking notes. And that is, do not dummy down who God made you during this stretching process, or during this stretching season. Don't dummy down who God made you to accommodate those people who cannot keep up. Let me say that again. During your stretching season, it's going to be transformational for you. God is going to do some mighty, mighty things in your life. God is going to elevate you. Okay, you're going to go into, and there are going to be some open doors, and you're going to walk through doors of opportunity that you did not even know existed. And there will be people out there with what we call the haterade. A friend of mine calls it haterade, right? So there will be people out there with the haterade. And then you will feel like that, oh, it's just this, or oh, it's just that. Here's the thing. When you're in this stretching season and God takes you through it, and then you get to that next level, that next where he created you to be, don't dummy down who God made you to accommodate those people who cannot keep up. There's a reason that you have been stretched. There's a reason that God allowed all these things in your life to happen. There's a reason for all that. Do not dummy down because there were people who didn't want to walk the same walk that you had to do to get to that place, okay? So here's the thing. When God stretches you, he's also stretching your mindset. He's stretching, and I need you to really get this, that when God stretches you, he's stretching your mindset and he's stretching your gift. Let me let that sink in for a second. He is stretching your gift. You got to get that. He is stretching your gift. And, you know, there's a scripture that says your gifts will make room for you, right? And when God stretches you, what you will begin to see are the gifts that he has. You'll begin to see those gifts making room for you. You'll start to see doors begin to open for what you are doing. You'll begin to see people wanting your leadership or wanting you to lead something. You'll begin to see doors opening for your nonprofit. You'll begin to see doors opening for your ministry. You'll begin to see those things in your life or on your job that people are going to wonder, well, how did she get that job? She just got here a year ago. You'll begin to see all of that. All right. You'll begin to see all of that. But here's again, remember not to dummy down who you are, because there were others who could not or decided not to keep up with you. Okay. So now, next thing I want to tell you about stretching is that stretching you will also prune you. Okay. If there are things, whatever is a part of you that cannot go to the next level that God is taking you, during this stretching process, it's going to fall off. it's going to fall off. Now, whether it's in your mind, whether it's your mindset, something that, you got a limited mindset about something, whether it's something physically, whether it's something emotionally, whether it's your attitude, whether it's your thoughts, when God moves that, when God stretches you, he is going to remove those things from you. Let me give you an example here. Many of you know that on July 1st, I started I don't want to call it a body transformation. I just wanted to be healthier. Okay, I just wanted to be a lot healthier. And my husband would tell me, you got to exercise. And I did exercise. But I did it because I had to. I didn't really like it. Well, I had to change my mindset about exercising. My why I was exercising had to shift, right? And so I got a lot of encouragement, and Coach Keisha Kauser, for those of you that don't know her, she's an outstanding coach in terms of helping you move forward physically. And I was at an event this past weekend, and I watched, and all of us were eating the food that they had there, and Coach Keisha pulls out her own food. And I was like, wow, to get that disciplined, right? But the thing about it is that I knew I could not go to the next level in the physical condition that I was in and the mindset that I had about my physical self. All right. I knew that I could not go to the next level with that. So God had to stretch me in that area. He has had to stretch my mindset, to stretch my trust in him, to do some things physically that I wouldn't normally do in terms of getting up and being at the gym at 6 o'clock, right? To meet a friend of mine, Minister Benita, and I meet at Elder Benita, and I meet at the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we work out. And now, though, that's a part of my lifestyle, and I love it. I love walking an hour a day, and I can see the physical results, right? My clothes feel differently. There's still some patches that I know I got to get rid of, right? I know if you saw a post of mine, I shouldn't be eating wings at midnight and shouldn't be taking sips of a Coke at midnight. So, but I am learning how that those things, or those kinds of habits that I had, can't go with me to the next level that I'm going, or the next level that I am at, right? Where God is taking me. So stretching you will also prune you. It's transformational, as we said, and stretching will also prune you. So here's the thing. If you want to grow in leadership, for example, and you want that promotion, then your leadership is going to have to be tested, right? Say that's something you want to grow in, or some place, an area that you want God to take you higher in. Well, your leadership is going to have to be tested. If you want to grow in ministry, same thing. You as a minister are going to have to be tested. Remember what we said. What got you here is not going to take you there. And so because that's the case, there's got to be some stretching, there's got to be some testing that God is going to take you through to get to that point, right? So you may think you're going through, and you are going through, but it's not a struggle, it is a stretch. It's not a struggle, it's a stretch. Because remember that when God is stretching you, you're not going to break. With God, you can handle what you're going through. Okay? And when God wants to take you to your next, financially, spiritually, in ministry, professionally, personally, emotionally, wherever God is taking you, and you're in this stretching season, you are not going to break. You've got to learn how to stand even in this stretching season. Now, here's the last thing I want to share with you. This is number 3. Number 1, stretching is transformational. Number 2, stretching you will also prune you. And then the last one here is that you cannot stretch yourself. You cannot stretch yourself. God is the one that will do the stretching of you. Okay. So let me give you an example. So if you wanted to go back to school, say you said, okay, I'm going to go back to school, and you make that decision to go back to school. And then all of a sudden school gets hard. And you say, oh my goodness, why did I do this? Why did I decide to go back to school? Well, God is stretching you. God is stretching you for whatever he's got for you after you finish school. Don't quit just because you find it a little bit hard. You know, that's that Langston Hughes point, right? Mother to son. Don't quit because you find what you're going through hard. God is stretching you. There is always a purpose to God stretching you. Don't get to the point where you say, I don't want to take this anymore. I can't do this. Stretching is for a season. Just like everything else in your life, stretching is for a season, and you will come out of that. Now, let me tell you, when you come out of that, like we said, you're going to be elevated. Your life, your finances, or whatever it is, however God is stretching you, you are going to be elevated. But remember, once God stretches you and you get to this point, then he's going to stretch you again. All right? Because every time God gets ready to elevate you, right, you've got to go through this season of stretching. It's a season of stretching. And, you know, there are seasons in our life, and you've heard me teach on seasons in our life, and I'm going to teach on that again at some point. But all the different seasons in your life, you know, God is stretching you in those seasons. He's stretching you in those seasons. Good evening, Lalana. Good evening. Good evening. So God is stretching you in all of those seasons. And so don't think that because you are going through something right now that God is punishing you or asking the question, why am I in this place? Look at it as God is stretching me. And here's the thing that I've learned is that even if I don't know why God is doing what he's doing, and most of the time you don't, most of the time you always see it on the other side, right? Even if I don't know why that I'm being stretched, even if I don't know what opportunity is God preparing me for, even when I don't know that, I have had, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this to you today, I have had to learn, and I want you to understand that even when you don't know why God is doing something, just roll with it. Just roll with what God is doing. Go in with a good attitude. Go in with positive thoughts. Get the negative naysayers out from behind you. When you're going through something or God is stretching you, you have to make sure that you've got the right people with you that can help you during that stretch, that can hold you during that stretch. One of the pictures that you didn't see is that you saw me during the stretch and you saw me holding the stretch, but then I let go. Okay, then I let go of that bar in that particular picture. And when I let go, my feet hit the floor, of course, and immediately Elder Benita said, Dr. Sandra, are you all right? Are you all right? I said, yes, Benita. She said, I was going to come pick you up. I was going to come pick you up if you fell. And see, that's the kind of people that you need with you during your stretch. That's the kind of people that God wants or will have already there for you during your stretch. That's why when God is stretching you, everybody that you know is not going to be able to be a part of your stretching process, Now, I hope that this has helped you. We talked about the stretch. Everything you're going through is not a struggle. Okay? Everything, God went to sent his son Jesus to the cross so that you wouldn't have to bear burdens. And the minute I got that, that's when I realized, oh, if I'm struggling with something right now, God's already taken care of this. He sent his son. He went to the cross. This is already taken care of. And so I don't worry about certain things in my life the way that I used to. And I want you to understand that too, that when God is taking you to that next level, regardless of what your next level is, when God is taking you to that next level, you have to go through a season of stretching. You have to go through a season of stretching. That stretching is transformational. That stretching will also prune you, and you cannot stretch yourself. Here's the thing, ladies. Allow God to do in you whatever he is doing within you so that you can do the work on the outside. Did you catch that? Allow God to stretch, to do whatever he's doing on the inside of you. You go into that stretching season, or you go through that stretching season with the kind of attitude, with the kind of positive attitude, with the kind of positive and growth thinking and growth mindset, so that when you get to the other side where God is taking you, you're ready to step right into what it is that God has for you, because there are open doors for you. There are opportunities that God has for you. There are the kinds, that next level that you've been waiting for. Some people call it, I call it next level. Some people call it next dimension. Whatever you want to call it, you're next, okay? You're next. Those things are waiting for you, but in order for you to get there, God has to stretch you. He is not going to let you go into something to fail. And here's the thing I've learned as well. Even what we've seen, what we see something and we see it as failure, it could be that God is stretching you. I don't know who that was for. Catch that. Something, catch that. I don't know who this is for. God is saying to you, and I don't know who you are, but you know who you are, that whatever you felt you just failed at, I hear the Holy Spirit saying, I was stretching you. It's part of your next. You thought you failed, but it's part of your next. Make sure whoever that's for, send me a direct message and let me know that was for you whenever you watch this. You'll see this particular video get replayed several times over the next couple of days. I know everybody is not online tonight, so I replay this as a live video every so often. All right, so ladies, I hope this has been a great teaching for you tonight. I hope this has helped you in terms of your stretching, to let you know that there is a season of stretch, that when God is preparing you for your next, that he is going to stretch you. He's going to stretch your mind. He's going to stretch your gifts. He's going to stretch your faith. He's going to stretch your trust in him. All of those things get stretched. But don't worry, you're not going to break. God's got you. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Look, make sure that you invite women to this group. I haven't decided whether we're still looking at timing and some other things, the marketing team, to determine when is the best time to start the teaching that we're going to be doing. It won't be live here. It will be on Zoom. And so we're still looking at when we're going to announce that and when that's going to be, because it's going to be a different kind of leadership teaching. It's going to be leadership training. So I shouldn't say training. It's leadership training, Bible study, whatever you want to call it. But all of those kinds of things into one. And we're going to be doing that via Zoom. And if you're in Vision Building Women, that's the only way you're going to know about it. All right, Vision Building Women, or you follow me on LinkedIn, right? One of those two places. And so that's a part of my gift to you. And it won't just be me, you'll be some other people on there as well teaching. And so get ready for that, because when God took me to a next level, God takes me to a next level, then everybody that's attached to me is also going to another level. Same thing for you. When God takes you to a next level, everyone that's attached to you is going to that next level as well. So just keep that in mind. Remember that as you get ready to go into this night. I pray sweet rest and sleep on you. If you're watching this during the day, I pray that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And for those of you that will see this the next day, then have a great day, have a great evening, regardless of the time zone. I know we've got some people who are in other countries that are in this group and that watch this. I thank God for each and every one of you. I thank you for being a part of this group, and we will see you soon. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.